one of the great events that we do here with this competition is Performance in the Round, which has been a few years now, and it's really been a great way of creative expression, I think, for the directors and students to do something different than other than the 13 individual events. We're going to begin with the performance of the winner and then present the top 3 and give their trophies and announce the casts. So I would like to present the award winner, the 2006 IHSA State Award winner for Performance of the Round, Downers Grove South, presenting The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
When the world seems hard to bear, you can dream a dream, and suddenly you're there. In the secret life.
The secret life.
The secret life.
The secret life. Drip, drop.
And who's to know and who's to say which world is really real? The world of everyday or the secret life of Walter Mitty?
Based on the works of James Thurber.
By Joe Manchester.
Your employer
have found you guilty as charged, and hereby sentence you to be shot. Do you have any last request?
If you don't mind, sir, I'd like to give the final command myself.
As you wish. Forward, arch!
Ready? Aim. About face. Forward, arch!
Walter! Walter J. Mitty, can you hear me?
Agnes, is that you here?
Walter, how many times do I have to ask you to come down to breakfast?
Sorry, dear. Be right there.
Walter, I promised Gertrude we'd stop by. And I have to go to the hairdresser. And today is Penina's accordion lesson. And you know I want to pick up a new times table at the train station. Walter, please hurry.
Do you think Daddy will remember, Mommy?
Remember what, sweetheart?
Oh, about today's birthday!
Knowing your father, probably not.
Maybe I'd better go tell him then.
Oh no, Penina, I think I didn't say anything. We can tell him when we open presents and have some cake.
All right, okay.
Walter! It never fails. Every time I want to go somewhere.
Look what I got him with my allowance, Mommy. It's a pencil.
That's very thoughtful, Penina.
Oh, but it's not just a pencil. No, ma'am. This one goes in the fountain pen. I got him for his birthday last year. Now he'll have a set.
I said that's very thoughtful, Penina. Now sit down and finish your cereal. Walter, what's keeping you? You haven't eaten yet. Your orange juice is getting all warm and your coffee is getting all cold. And you know what it's like to get a parking space at the station.
Parking spot at the station? By the time I'm 40, I'll have a chauffeur to park the car for me. Well, by the time I'm 40, I'll be a millionaire for once or twice. By the time I'm 40, life won't be so dull. It'll be more colorful. But I've got to get started right away. Today!
Walter!
Well, tomorrow for sure. Good morning, Agnes.
Good morning, Walter.
Good morning, Penina.
Walter. Penina! Can you believe it? His own daughter!
Penina.
Walter, are you about to smoke in my kitchen? You have a congested chest. After everything we read in the Reader's Digest on tobacco and your health.
Oh, well,
People who smoke before breakfast are supposed to be nervous and irritable.
Oh, are they? Agnes. No, really, Agnes. It's just one cigarette. Besides, it's an Astro. You know, the space tip, and the double micronite filter, and the long charcoal insert. They don't have much room for tobacco.
Commander Mitty, come in. This is Operation Astro. This is Operation Astro to Commander Mitty.
Spaceship to Operation Astro. Commander Mitty speaking. We're ready for blast off. From Mars.
If you're having any trouble with the exhaust, Commander, we suggest that you do not take any chances.
The only time you're alive is when you're taking chances.
What's that, Commander? What's wrong, Commander?
Tell the old man there's only one hope. I'm throwing it into full throttle.
That's suicide!
Well, we only live once, Private McMillan. Or do we?
Walter, I have to go to the hairdresser.
Commander! Commander, what's wrong? Commander, I'm getting a lot of interference. Do you know what it could be?
Yes, but there's nothing you can do about it. Hold it. My fountain pen. Panina's pen. Now let's see here. There! Now that'll hold for 10 minutes.
You're the most together man I've ever come across, Commander. God be with you.
Thank you, sir.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off!
Walter! Walter, what is wrong with you?
Wrong, dear?
Walter. I can't believe you.
Tell him about my pageant.
Walter, I certainly hope this daydreaming won't interfere with Nina's starring role in the school health pageant.
No, of course not. Nothing could keep me from that.
Go show Daddy what you do.
Oh, well, I play the spirit of walks around the block 6 times a day. These boots are made for walking.
I'll let you play the perfect part. Now let me see that peanut butter smile.
Come on, let's start walking. Bum, 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 bum.
Now, Walter, I've been thinking a lot lately, and I've decided I'm sending you to see Dr. Renshaw.
Dr. Renshaw? Are you serious? The child psychiatrist.
Well, yes, dear.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. I've never felt better in my life.
It's the billionaire banker, Wellington McMillan. Billionaire banker!
Hey, who has the guess?
Dr. Renshaw, Benbow, and Professor Benbow. Lecturers Remington, Renshaw, and Benbow.
Drip?
Dash.
Oh, well, how'd you do?
Drip, drop, deductive. At the devil's drop to pine. Obstiosis of the ductal.
Osteosis of the ductal.
Tertiary.
Dairy, tertiary, white contrary.
Read your book. Brilliant, brilliant. Won't you take to book?
Minnie, drip.
Glad to.
Minnie said he's glad to. Minnie said he's glad to.
Drip, drop, deductive. Drip, deductive. Drip, deductive.
The anesthetiser's giving away.
Giving away! Ah!
There's no one in the east. Knows how to fix it. Oh.
Drip,
The patient's slipping. He's slipping. Slipping.
Quick! My fountain pen. Panina's pen. Now let's see here.
drip, slip.
There. Well, that'll hold.
Drip,
For
slip.
10 minutes.
Drip, slip.
Well, let's get on with it.
Drip, slip.
Knife.
Drip, slip.
And so, smash it. The patient shall live to sail his Anna.
Walter, I'm worried about you. You mumbled in your sleep again.
Did I?
Walter, I have to go to the hairdresser. Come along. Now, Walter, whatever you do, don't you dare step foot inside Harry's bar.
Yes, dear.
Bye-bye.
Drip! Drop! Tobacco! Hey, Walt, let me get you a beer. This one's on me.
Oh, thanks.
Happy birthday! Get out of here! What's the matter, Walt? You don't seem like yourself. Come on, you can tell old Harry.
Well, I'm just taking stock, Harry. Do you realize I've been spinning and spinning and spinning for 40 years, and I've never woven a thing?
Don't worry about it. Stuff always works out in the end. Oh, hey, how's about something, sweet? On me.
Well, sounds great.
Fantastic. Crepe Suzette.
Oh, ciao, ciao.
Apple turnip.
Topakita!
Wow.
And baklava.
Me, baklava.
Baklava.
Me, baklava.
Baklava.
Oh, baklava, hell, well, that's Agnes. Get her out of here.
No, me baklava.
Get her out.
On, get out.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
Hi. My name's Willa.
Walter J. Mitty.
Mitty?
It rhymes with witty.
Witty.
Well, no, it really does rhyme with witty.
My name's Willa DeWisp.
Well, that doesn't rhyme with anything.
That's my stage name. I want to be the great star that shines on Broadway.
Madame de Monsieur. We will not have all the red shoes.
No! Sacre bleu!
La magnifique. Oh. La fantastique. Oh. La tragique. Oh. Mademoiselle Willa DeWisp.
Walter Mitty, it's not too late. Your existence you can turn around. The night is sweet and really so fun. 'Cause Willa is the one who's before it's over, you better go and change your life. Walter! It's so easy, just go out and dump your wife. Just go out and dump your
Harry, give me 100 dimes. I'm gonna call McMillan and tell him to go to hell.
Yes.
Then I'll call Agnes and tell her to stay under the dryer until I pick her up.
Yes.
Confidence, confidence. Wait. Agnes just pulled up outside. She's here.
What? Agnes? Here? Well, if she finds me like this, she'll...
Oh, you better hide quick. You're in that dump.
Walter! Walter, where are you?
He's under there.
Walter, where?
Daddy, what are you doing under there? Come on.
Walter, what are you doing under the kitchen table?
I was, looking for my husband.
Walter, you're acting ridiculous.
Happy birthday, Daddy.
Walter, you've got to stop daydreaming.
Dreaming?
You've got to stop believing your own fantasies, Walter.
Fantasies.
Walter, life is too beautiful to waste your time daydreaming. Happy 40th birthday, Walter. I love you. Good morning, Walter.
Here. Yes, Aggie. I'm just fine. Ah!
Okay.
To pocket up how? Queep.
This year, to help present the awards, I'm going to have out here in the south side of Chicago, a group of schools, the IHSA schools, that have disbanded, or IHSA's changed and realigned. IHSA's still happening, but there's a new realignment. So since we're having state this year, I'm going to have the old IHSA coaches all come up and help assist me, or assist us and Oak Lawn in giving out the awards. So to give out the first awards, it sounds like the Academy Awards, will be Tom Sweeney and our coach, Billy Denton, to give out the Performance of the Round Awards.
Good evening. For places 4 through 7, we ask that the cast stand where they are in the audience and be recognized when their school is called. In 7th place, Lost in Yonkers, Naperville Central. In 6th place, The Dating Game Redux, Wheaton North. In 5th place, The Things They Carried, Glenbard West. In 4th place, The Revolt of the Evil Fairies, Oak Lawn.
Thanks, Bill. For 3rd through the champion, we would like the PIR cast and directors to come up on stage. And in 3rd place, Romeo to Go from Marion Catholic High School, Chicago Heights.
After they've arrived on stage, I will read the cast names. Please hold all applause until the directors' names have been said also. Thank you. And the cast is Christopher Tariquez, James Slonikowski, Chris Skirka, Kyle Holmes, Anna Siragioli, Lauren Nix, Taylor Newhith, Paul Obegi, Sarah Anderson, Greg Rosbach, Sam Sullivan, Nick Gutierrez, Tim Blewett, Mike Losos, and the director is Tom Sweeney.
Runner-up in the state of Illinois, The Right Stuff from Belleville West, 2nd place.
The cast of The Right Stuff: Chris Brammer, Derek Busking, Amy Gardner, Emma Magner, Laura Pearson, Jessica Petrie, Kathy Simonson, Victoria Thompson, Ben Watts. The directors are Melanie Jenkins, Adam Jenkins, and Russ Reidelberger.
And now it's my pleasure to announce the state champion of Illinois, Downers Grove South, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
The cast is Joel Bennett, Jeff Danziger, Becca Seal, Collie Powell, Colleen O'Neill, Chris Nichols, Dan Nelson, Eric Jensen, Alex Safranek, Cullen Deddy, Stephanie Gilbert, Tess Modi, Danielle Tannenbaum, and Kiowit. The coaches are Jan Heiteen, Chris Blum, Elijah Wilson, Tiffany Bruce, and Aggie Valenti.
Our first event, the event sitting to the side will be dramatic and terp. The event coming up on stage will be dramatic duet acting, and giving the awards out from Thornwood High School, a wonderful, beautiful woman, Darcel Williams.
I'm happy to be here and excited to say congratulations to all of the competitors and to the finalists, but also to the judges and to the coaches. Good job on a good job, well done. I would like to introduce the finalists now and have the DDA finalists on stage. In 7th place, from Marion in Chicago Heights, Alex Stodero and Craig Dietman. In 6th place, from Wheaton Warrenville South, Brian Bohr and Megan Mitchell. In 5th place, from Thornridge High School, Donna Carroll and Nicole Dandridge. In 4th place, from Wheaton North High School, Allie Obert and Becca Ross. In 3rd place, from Harrisburg High School, Angie Morris and Blake Surratt. And our runner-up today is from Downers Grove South, Liz Adamski and Megan Deddy. And our 2006 state winner, champion today in dramatic duet acting, is from Glenbrook South, Colleen Skimp and Ryan Fuss.
Hey,
Hey,
what are you doing?
just making a list of things I never got the chance to do.
Uplifting.
Oh yeah. You want to read it?
Sure. Okay, number 1. Never got the chance to be a Vegas showgirl. Oh, you would have been good.
I know. Well, I've definitely got the legs for it.
Okay, number 4. Never got to climb Mount Everest. Yes, number 8. Never got the chance to ride in a hot air balloon. You forgot one.
What's that?
Never got to be a father. Henry David Thoreau once wrote, "There is no remedy for love but to love more."
Mark and Grace discover that the only way to heal their pain is to nurture their relationship and create more love in each other's lives.
Because I love you.
By Grant Matthews. So I guess we tell you why we're here?
How we got here.
Right. I'll start. So we took the A train down to 46, got off.
I'll start. So, Mark and I have been married for 4 years, and Mark recently found out that he has cancer.
Don't make this about me, okay? You know, I'm here because you wanted me to come. Honestly, I've got better things to do with my time.
Oh, well, that's nice, Mark. Really,
Stop
very
taking
nice.
everything I say so personally. Okay, this isn't about you.
It is. This is about me. Anyway, so Mark recently found out that he has cancer, and it's terminal.
Look,
And
we
I
can
don't
do
think
this
he's
separately.
handling it very
You know,
well.
I really don't want to sit here and listen to her go on and on. about
Oh, I
this
see.
and
This
that.
is all very easy for you, huh, Mark? Because you can just sit here and list my failures. Well, at least I have failures to list.
What does that mean, huh? What does that mean?
It means that I try. Regardless of whether or not I think I might fail, I try.
Well, hey, maybe you could list dying before 30 as one of my failures.
Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and let you make me feel miserable in order for you to feel good about yourself, Mark. If you want to do this separately,
Yeah.
then fine. Fine, let's do it separately.
Okay, great. I'll be outside. If you two figure out a cure for cancer, let me know, okay?
He's not like that. That's not him, and well, I know that. We love each other very much. It's just things changed when he found out, you know? He was alone.
No, I'm fine. So what do we do?
And he was scared.
Terminal? I'm not even 30.
And when I got home, he was just staring at himself in the mirror. "Hey, baby, I'm home. How was your day?" Well, we had a very
Grace.
busy day. We had that budget meeting at
Grace.
work, remember? Can you
Grace.
believe that they're gonna... What?
Saw Dr. Andrews today.
Is it your cholesterol again? God, you know, Mark, if you
I
would
have
just
cancer.
listen... What? What?
Yeah. I have cancer. And it's terminal.
Terminal. See, that just didn't make any sense because he was just going to the hospital to get some blood work and a physical, but I just really hate that word, you know? Terminal. Because that one word, it changed him. Changed his whole outlook.
Hey,
Hey,
what are you doing out here? It's freezing.
just thinking
Yeah? About what?
about us.
Yeah? Well, I've been thinking
Do
about
you
us
know
too.
how much I love you?
Yeah. I know. So I've been thinking about something else, too.
What?
What would you think about you and I having a baby?
What?
A baby.
Grace, now's not the time for this.
Why not?
Why? I mean, you never wanted to have a baby before.
No. I said I wasn't ready before.
So what's so different now? No, is it because you're so full of love for me? Is it because you're running out of time?
Mark, listen to me.
No, look. Maybe I don't want to have a baby with you.
You know what, Mark? I don't think I can take this anymore. I mean, I'm trying the best I know how, and you just keep lashing out at me.
All I'm trying to say is, having a baby doesn't solve anything. Okay, it doesn't.
It could.
It can't. You know, when it's all said and done, I'm still going to have cancer. Okay, I'm still going to die. You know, and that void you're trying to fill, Grace, it will still be there.
I wasn't trying to fill a void. I really wasn't. I mean, Mark and I, we had talked about having kids plenty of times before. It's just, I wasn't ready yet. But we were planning on it. We really were.
Excuse me? Sorry.
I'm not done, Mark.
Grace, look. I'm sorry. Okay, but can we just leave, please? You know, it's not that I don't want to work this out. I do. Okay, I don't want to spend my last days here arguing over nothing.
So what do we do?
Remember my list?
Yeah, you want to go to Vegas and be a showgirl?
Yeah. I want to be a father.
Why?
Because I love you. So, come on, let's go. Thank you. It's been, well, thanks.
You know, if there's some big master plan for all of this, then I just don't get it. Mark lived for almost a year, and I never left his side. And even though he's gone, he's still here with me. And Mark Jr., well, he was born at 2:32 p.m. And Mark Sr. died at 2:45. But for 13 minutes, we were a real family.
Best 13 minutes of my life.
And now presenting the award for dramatic interpretation from HF High School, Janine Stromer. You need this.
Thank you, Mr. Zerzan. It is truly a pleasure to be up here amongst all my forensic family and friends, and I just hope that everybody who's here today recognizes how special this opportunity, and especially today, is. And without further ado, let me get to the business at hand. In 6th place, from Wheaton, Warrenville South, Britton Siebert. In fifth place, from Pearl City, Anna Ruck. In fourth place, from Glenbrook South, Robert Whitley. In third place, from Oaklawn Community, Patrick Cooper. And then there were two. In second place, the state runner-up in dramatic interpretation, from Thornridge, Donna Carroll. Your state champion in dramatic interpretation hails from Bellevue West, Derek Cooper.
They call me Zoo Man. That's right. Z-O-O-M-A-N. Zoom Man. What? What am I doing here now? I just killed somebody. Little girl, I think. See, she ain't had no business being out there anyway. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. What? What, I'm supposed to feel guilty about something like that? I didn't even know the chick anyway. The loss of a child is a very traumatic experience. This is especially true in the case of Reuben and Rachel, who are devastated by the sudden death of their daughter Jenny at the hands of another victim, Lester Johnson. He too is a lost child, lost to a world of poverty and crime. He has grown up in the streets and respects no life but his own. Zoo Man and the Sign by Charles Fuller. Well, she was born February 10th, 8 pounds, 6 ounces. She had this star-shaped birthmark on her left hip. I don't know where she got it from. I mean, I didn't have it, you know. And when her father first saw her, he said she looked like she was from my side of the family. Well, that morning she got up. She took forever to put on her clothes. She started this argument with Victor, and I had told her that I was going to tell her father if she didn't stop it. But I didn't. I made her go outside. I made her. I mean, I just feel so empty. I keep expecting her to come down the stairs. Hear music playing in her room. She was my baby. They killed my baby. When you ain't got nothing to do, go to the zoo. Yeah, I shot that little chick. Because I felt like it. Zoo Man felt like shooting somebody. So what? I got picked up 21 times last year. Every time somebody black did something and them cops didn't have a name, they busted me. Besides, all us look alike. Right? I'm telling you, it's like they didn't even know me. Mr. Williams from down the street, he didn't even answer the door. So I went downtown to Julius Williams' house, and he acted like he didn't even know I had a daughter. I mean, me and my wife have lived on this block for 15, 16 years. Jenny was born on this block, and they all act like we're strangers. I mean, I'm just sick of it. No one cares. I even had to call the police myself. I left my baby dying to look for this stupid phone while they sat there with their mouths open. I mean, losing Jenny was like waking up one morning and discovering the sun had a hole in it, you know? She had the softest black skin I'd ever seen. God, she had this way of smiling at you, you know it? I mean, it made you feel like somebody had given you a gift. I mean, I wanted to see her grown, you know, do something, be something. Do something with herself. I just want to beat somebody up. But instead, I went downtown and had this sign made to hang outside my door. The killers of my daughter, Jenny, roam the streets free because my neighbors won't identify them. Ain't no fun being on the run. See, but I happen to know. See, if a black kills a black, see, they don't catch you right away. See, they liable to forget about it. But if a black kills a white, see, that's a different story right there. Yeah, but I ain't worried yet. But that nigga with them signs, oh, that nigga, I'ma get that nigga. See, ain't nobody ever pulled that kind of stuff before. I mean, killings, rapes, drugs, that stuff going on all the time in this town. But don't nobody care, but this nigga is trying to send that zoo of a neighborhood on me, sending everybody after me. I'm Zoo Man. I'm Zoo Man. You don't put nobody on me. If that nigga want to blame somebody, he need to blame himself. You don't leave no little girl sitting on the porch unattended. Daddy should have known better. But I'll be off your street soon now. I'll be off her. I just got one more thing to do. I heard a commotion in the street. I had always kept this gun in my closet for protection. I mean, I got a family. I got the gun. Hey, nigga, this Zoo Man out here. I step on the porch. The same spot where Jenny's lifeless body had once been. Hey, nigga, this Zoo Man you messing with. I shot. And there he was, lying in a puddle of blood. No witnesses. Just like when Jenny was shot. So the next day I made this new sign to hang outside my porch. Here, Lester Johnson was killed. He will be missed by family and friends. He was known as Zoo Man.
The next event on deck to the right would be Humorous and Terp. For this particular event, we have two presenters. One is the wonderful, very young, vivacious coach from Andrew, new and up and coming, Ellen Howley. And also, we have a guest who was going to be here earlier but to present the first award, but a board member invited Congressman Dan Lipinski to come. He was very interested in education and in the arts, and after the invitation, he decided to come to support the arts and to give out an award. He's first going to say something quickly, and then I think it's a perfect event for him to give is the stump. So I'd like to introduce Dan Lipinski.
Thank you very much. Well, welcome to the heart of the 3rd Congressional District here in Oak Lawn. I'm up here tonight, and I feel that it might be a tough audience. It's tough to make a speech when I'm here in front of the best in the state. And I know because when I was in high school, a little more than 20 years ago, I was on a speech team. I didn't do forensics, though. I did student Congress, which is probably not coincidental that I'm now in the U.S. Congress. Student Congress is where I first wrote bills, researched bills, and had my first experience public speaking. I just want to congratulate everyone because I know how much work it takes to do what you do and to be the best in the state. So congratulations to all the students here, and also congratulations to the speech coaches, because I know how much it meant to me back when I was in high school. I'll always remember Sister Diane Wiefenbach, who it's possible some of the team coaches know here, may have known Sister Diane. I know how much it meant to me and all that she did to help me when I was back in high school, help me in my first experience with public speaking, which carries forward through this day. So congratulations to all you. I couldn't believe when I walked in here to set up, I feel like I'm at the Academy Awards, all the bright lights shine on me, and I've been fantastic, the performances I've seen. So congratulations, and we'll move on to presenting these awards. Thank you.
We will start with 7th place. 7th place goes to Nate Wheatley from Glenbard West. In 6th place, Joseph Ostrowski from Belleville West. Fifth place in extemporaneous speaking is Neil Kemberger from Warren. Fourth place in extemporaneous speaking is Michael McLean from Andrew. Third place, Grant Mosey from Coal City. In second place, Tom Seawald from Wheaton North. And your IHSA state champion in extemporaneous speaking is from Wheaton Warrenville South, Mark Schmidt.
The congressional motorcade is almost as incompetent as Congress itself. Think about it for a second. They don't drive a Toyota Prius and they don't drive an Accord. When they go to governmental functions, they drive a Chevy Suburban, or as I like to call it, a boat on wheels. Now, when you think about this, there are three key things to note. The handling? Well, it's an American car. The fuel economy? Well, let's just say now we know why they want to drill in Alaska for Congress. But when we look at this gas-guzzling Chevy SUV, we can see Congress itself, which of late has become a money guzzler, one that can find itself always steeped in graft and corruption, driven by an ever-rising deficit. Indeed, it is plain for us to simply dismiss it, but as the Cleveland Plain Dealer reported on December 6, 2005, the rising budget deficit within the United States threatens to destroy the world economy should the United States economy suffer under our tremendous debt burden. As we stand here considering this, it is important to ask the question, what steps can Congress take to address the soaring national debt? And the clear answer is threefold. We must first discourage pork barrel spending. Second, we must denounce Second, we must denounce Pentagon spending. And finally, we must delay entitlements and clearly bring our debt burden under control. First, we must discourage the rampant pork barrel spending that has been seen throughout Congress. Now, as of late, we have found ourselves submitting not to the principles of Thomas Jefferson, not to the principles of our founding fathers of small government and fiscal responsibility, but rather of an attitude of complete and utter fiscal incompetence, an irrational body of thought which threatens to destroy our nation's very economic foundations. We can see this first by looking at the causes of pork barrel spending and then by contrasting it with the effects. Now, the New York Times of October 30th, 2005, and the Denver Post of February 15th, 2006, both state plain and clearly that fiscal irresponsibility has become a hallmark of Congress. Now, these articles go on to state that it is not so much a representation of today's Congress, but rather a slow and steady decline towards fiscal irresponsibility and pork barrel spending. One example is Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska, who recently spent $233 million to get a bridge to an island of 50 people. Yeah. So, here's the best part, though. Here's the best part. It would have been cheaper to buy each of the 50 residents on the island a 30-foot yacht instead. But we must also examine the effects of this. Now, of late, we have heard of the corruption charges of Tom DeLay and many other people, and by examining this, we can see what deficit spending can do to our nation's Congress. The Economist of January 26, 2006, reports that with congressional leaders becoming more and more willing to simply throw away $10 million here, or $20 million there, or $233 million for a bridge, lobbyists find themselves eager to join in, eager to take some part of the pool. Indeed, from this, we see that the burden of deficit spending is not only a fiscal one, but also an ethical one, as lobbyism and Congress comes together to create something that is really not that attractive. But second, let us also focus upon the fact that we must denounce Pentagon spending if we truly wish to achieve a stable monetary policy. Now, by looking at the causes of Pentagon spending, whereas then contrasting it with the effects, it's clear to note that though we are fighting a war on terror, we must never confuse fear with irrationality. The Financial Times of November 11, 2005 reports that there are tremendous uncertainties over Iraq, and they add that we are fighting numerous wars, including, as the Washington Post of February 2, 2006 reports, a war on terror that is centered around the USA Patriot Act. Now, what all of these things show is the tremendous distance to which Americans are willing to achieve and strive for their own national security. And yet in the process, we have lost track of our personal finances. The New York Times of December 7, 2005 states that the Pentagon's budget was $444 million. Wait, I'm sorry. That was $444 billion. I forgot to carry the two. From this case, we see that the Pentagon is shamelessly depriving our nation of its treasury. Now, the deficit for the year ending 2005 was $319 billion. And when we look at this, we see that though we may not like the war in Iraq, and though we may not like the Democratic stance on such beliefs, it is not a political issue, but rather a monetary one. I am not advocating that we pull out of Iraq or that we have any change in policy, but rather that we examine the budget of the Pentagon to further and to create a better understanding of truly where our money is going. Finally, let us also note that we must delay entitlements. Now, the two principal entitlements that we have seen of late are Medicare and taxation. And through both of these areas, we see that we must stop these promises to the American people that we simply cannot keep. The Economist of February 9th, 2006 states that Medicare has recently undergone a complete drug overhaul. Indeed, the Washington Post of November 2nd, 2005 writes that they spent over $300 billion on this benefit, and that is only for the years 2006 to 2010. When the baby boomers begin to retire after that, when we find ourselves with numerous retirees, we will only find ourselves even deeper and more steeped in debt. And yet Medicare is only one entitlement that we must desperately avoid. Taxation is another principal error in our country's monetary policy. The New York Times of December 9th, 2005 reports that there has been $95 billion in tax cuts, despite the fact that our nation's national deficit is $319 billion for this year alone, and with an overall debt of over $2 trillion. Our nation is slowly but steadily walking away from the basis of any rich and developed nation. We must understand that though we are wealthy and though we are the richest nation in the world, even the richest nation in the world does not have a blank slate. Through this, we can see that we must end these entitlements so that 20 years down the road, Americans will not be fighting desperately to keep these promises that we made to them. The key is not in acknowledging our government's failure, but rather simply acknowledging that some promises cannot be kept. And so, when we come back to our question, what steps can Congress take to address the soaring national debt, we see that the answer can be seen through three avenues of exploration. First, we must discourage pork barrel spending. Second, we must denounce Pentagon spending. And finally, we must delay the entitlements that threaten to destroy our country's economic foundations. Though it would be simple to say that Congress is about as fuel efficient as a Chevy Suburban, even Chevrolet is pioneering hybrid technology. And it's time that we take a look at our own Congress and see if it too could become slightly more efficient.
The next event on the side will be impromptu. And now for Humorous Interp, I'd like to present Dan Sackett, my great friend Dan Sackett from Sandburg High School.
Thank you very much, Tom. One of the things that has really touched me over this weekend is how special the speech family is, not just the existing people in the school, but also the extended family. How many veterans we had come back, how many alumni of speech programs came back today to see people, and how many speech parents who don't have kids involved still came back to witness what's going on, especially the Oak Lawn crew. They did such a wonderful job. And it really is something with speech that once you're in it for life. It's kind of like the mafia, only we have better suits. I must cite my source for that. That's Glenbrook South coach Mark Moranto. That's his joke, so I can't plagiarize. We can have the humorous interpretation finalists, please, on stage. In sixth place in humorous interpretation, from Hinsdale Central High School, Peter Smith. In fifth place in the state of Illinois in humorous interpretation, from Carbondale High School, Ben Ponce. In fourth place in humorous interpretation, the state of Illinois, from Glenbrook South High School, John Splithoff. In third place in humorous interpretation in the state of Illinois, from Marian Catholic High School, Matthew Nix. The runner-up in the state of Illinois in humorous interpretation is from Downers Grove South High School, Eileen Schroeder. And your tournament champion in humorous interpretation in the state of Illinois from Sandburg High School, Stanley Pollitt.
On this particular day, zip, I did like I did at the end of every school day. Run home! Yo, Dink, what you afraid of? Jefisto, name 3 countries bordering Venezuela. Yo, Dink, your mama's so fat, she wears dresses. And sometimes an apron. Burn. You could always tell when they were running low on put-downs. I hated my name. Winchell Mink. It was too easy to rhyme. Mink the Fink. Mink, Mink, they diddly wink. Mink, Mink, the stupid. Mink. I wanted a name that couldn't be made fun of. Say, like orange. You can't rhyme it, and it's loaded with vitamin C. The worst part was, this bully bunch was led by the deadly clever Clayton Moore, the meanest and most articulate bully known to bully kind. The worst is when he makes fun of me in Latin. Mihi place quodius mode. It pleases me that you are such a coward, Minkadink. Gotcha. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, it's not like they needed to say much more once they got me. Sociologists often debate the major motivations behind bullying. But after seeing the movie Mean Girls, I'm pretty sure that the major motivation is being sexy. Like me. But through one boy's struggle, we learn that our greatest weapon against adversity is ourselves. Winchell Mink, The Misadventure Begins, by Steve Young. As I lie in bed and think about the events of the day, I had never felt so hopeless, because right now it seemed like the whole world was against me. Well, except for my box turtle Hannibal. How I wish I could just be something else. Winchell, it pleases me to no end that you have begun to use underarm deodorant. Who said that? It's me, Hannibal. But you can call me Hannah. Hannibal. Hannah, you're a girl? And you can talk? I've decided to come out of my shell. So you want to make a change? I wish I could be something else so I could experience life. To do that, you must travel to wondrous places and leave this domain completely. Leave this domain completely? I'm a turtle? This body is so much better than my old body. How many people get to bring their house wherever they go? Well, except for people that live in mobile homes. But watch this. Huddle, head out. Huddle, head out. Awesome, man. Dinosaurs? There's dinosaurs of every kind. Even the little-known Elvisaurus. Thank you. Thank you very much. Which some people still says exists. Boom. Holy Galapagos. Boom. What's that behind me? Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to eat you soon. Clayton Moore. I'll smack my lips together and hope that you are tender. Even his bully bud should become prehistoricized. Yo, Dink, your descendants will become extinct. Hey, Fingston, name 3 countries bordering Pangea. Yo, Dink, your mama's so fat, she eats pterodactyl eggs. Burn. You waddle like Kirstie Alley. Bon appetit. How am I? All right, boys and girls, now it's time to start our turtle dissecting. My biology class. Turtle dissecting. Salutations, Mingoid. Clayton, I've been salivating for a turtle McMuffin. I'm doomed. WWHD. What would Hannah do? Wish for a miracle, Winchell. I need a miracle right now. I'm not a turtle anymore. What in the blazes is going on? Clayton? A turtle? This is going to be fun. These peas, I was only gisting with you, Winchell. My friend, my pal, my compadre. What? Are you shell-shocked? I promise to never ridicule you ever again. Wait a minute. I'm not Clayton Moore. I'm Winchell Mink, and I'm special. Yes, you are special. Very, very special. I'm not a turtle anymore. And there in my biology class was Clayton's game. And Clayton gave them a look, which I think meant, apologize or perish. Arg. I apologize, Winchell. Lo siento, Winchell. Sorry, Winchell. Burn. As I returned back to my bed, I realized how much different I felt from when I had left. Hannah, I had made a promise to experience life. Have I? You have. I always knew you could. And the best part was, there were so many experiences awaiting me. Tomorrow.
And now to present the award for impromptu is from Lockport High School, a coach who always gives a real special flavor to every tournament that he's at, Lloyd Pierce.
Ah, yes. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of our friends from out west, down south, up here to beautiful, tropical, exotic Oak Lawn, home of warm weather, and some great impromptu talent. Representing Normal West High School in 6th place, Melissa Clemens. Representing Wheaton Warrenville South in 5th place, Mark Schmidt. In 4th place, from Carbondale, Elizabeth Hammond. In 3rd place, from Coal City, Grant Mosey. All right, feel attention building. All right, the runner-up, representing Marist High School, Colleen Smith. And this year's state tournament champion in impromptu from Oak Park River Forest High School, Elizabeth Dangle.
After this tournament's over, I somehow have to figure out a way to write one of my 4 quarter paper research papers for AP European History. It's due 2 days after the musical closes. The musical, which I missed a rehearsal for to come here. I'm stressed out of my mind. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in a couple of months, and I have never been happier. Don't just go to school. Go beyond. There are so many opportunities to take advantage of here in our schools, here in our state, and here in our country. But we are not the only students who have been offered these kinds of opportunities. Students throughout history and pop culture have taken advantage of these opportunities. We can look at several examples, but today I've picked 3 of them. First, the formation of Students for a Democratic Society, back in their peaceful days. A group of students that decided politics were just as important as econ lectures, and so they gathered together to make a statement about the state of the country. Next, we can look at the ideas pirated by, formed by, in addition to, we can look at some of the ideas presented in the film A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe. And finally, we can bring it back to the idea of the talents that we are already taking to our future universities, citing specifically the poetry of Edna St. Vincent Millay. But first, let's hop back just about 40 years to a time where the nation was in a great state of turmoil. The 1960s were a very powerful and painful period to live through. Political figures being assassinated left and right, Martin Luther King, President John F. Kennedy, and students found themselves in the late 60s and early 70s faced with the prospect of an unjust war. The Vietnam War horrified student populations across the country, and so the formation of several student political bodies occurred. Specifically at Stanford University and the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, we had groups coming together to form Students for a Democratic Society. While the group would turn violent and illegal in a few years, their beginnings were proud. They wanted to go beyond the classroom. They wanted to bring their ideas of justice out into the world and out to fruition. Specifically at Stanford University, Students for a Democratic Society would go across the bay to Berkeley to sit in dean's offices and protest napalm and the murder of Vietnamese children. Students for a Democratic Society was a very controversial group at the time, but it came out of the ideals of these students' minds, not just to go to school, but to go beyond and take it out into the world. One man who took his ideas from the world on the other coast came from the film A Beautiful Mind, inspired by mathematician John Nash. Now, Nash came to Princeton not looking for the education that so many people seek in the Ivy League, but rather looking to add something to the educational atmosphere. Nash wanted to invent some sort of mathematical revolutionary theory. Eventually, he ended up with game theory. But first, as the film shows, he sketched possibilities for algorithms for the ways pigeons move. But Nash wasn't able to just sit down with his math textbook and think about his ideas. No, he was also facing mental barriers. Nash himself was schizophrenic and would have hallucinations. When he met people for the first time, he would not know whether anyone else could see them. The film portrays it brilliantly. But Nash didn't just finish his work at Princeton and then go home. He went beyond school. He came back as a professor to share his very specific and revolutionary ideas to the mathematical community at Princeton and all over the world. Don't just go to school, go beyond, and then come back with the things you've learned. But we don't just acquire these new ideas to bring out into the world in college. No, we're already taking them with us. Here at the State Series, in a room full of some of the best speakers in the state, we find ourselves with ideas that we are already taking to whatever university opens its doors to us. We have our own ideas and our own values, and we will bring them with us, much like poet Edna St. Vincent Millay brought her ideas with her to Vassar College. Millay, by the time she was 18, had already published her most famous work, Renaissance. Renaissance was a poem about rebirth and new ideas, the idea that someday we're all going to die, whether it's simply physically or in our minds. But Millay took this idea of death and rebirth and brought it with her to Vassar, where she chose to work on the Poetry magazine and continue to write poems and raise money for the British cause overseas. Edna St. Vincent Millay went beyond her high school and took that extra effort with her to her university, much like we can. We are American teenagers. We have so much to offer the world if we can just go that extra step outside of the classroom. Don't just go to school, go beyond. The Students for a Democratic Society chose to take their ideas about politics out into the world, show people what justice could really be like. John Nash took his ideas about mathematics and economics and his game theory out into the world and brought it back to his university, going beyond and then coming back to the walls of his school. And finally, we as American teenagers take so many gifts with us off to college, much like Edna St. Vincent Millay took her ideas and her poetry with her when she moved into Vassar College. I'm exhausted. I've been at a speech tournament all day, and I still have no clue how I'm going to write this research paper. But someday, when I'm outside of school, when I have exhausted all of the opportunities that I can wrap my fingers around, then I'll rest.
And now I'd like to introduce a coach, a teacher who I've known since she was in high school, an original comedy state champion herself, Alana Reiner-Drude.
I hear these people are funnier than I am, so we're going to get the show on the road. And in sixth place from Normal Community High School, Andy Monson. In fifth place from Wheaton North, Colin Delaney. In fourth place from Thornton, Leroyce Hawkins. In third place from Warren High School, Neil Chemberkar. And in second place, from Benton, Justin Kimball. It's a girl. It's a girl. Your tournament champion in original comedy from Wheeling, Liz Ramali.
Good evening, porkly adolescents. I'm David Ettenberg, owner and operator of a fitness camp just for you. Camp Shane is a fun and easy way to lose weight. Come join us at www.teamporkers.com. Because together, everyone achieves more. Fitness camp? Fitness camp? I don't think so. I went there. Worst 8 weeks of my life. Maybe I should start from the beginning. Hi, I'm Liz and I'm chubby. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I've been spending my whole life trying to fix it. I've been on every diet imaginable, like Slim Fast. So is this like a meal? And then that whole Atkins thing. Didn't the guy who invented this die? That's what I thought. So then one day my mom came up to me to talk. Oi, Bubala, we need to talk. I'm not pregnant. Oi, thank Moses who parted the Red Sea. No, honey, we're sending you to summer camp. Summer camp? This was great. Hot boys? Beaches? Hot boys at beaches? Oh, no, honey, we're not sending you to one of those camps. We're sending you to a special camp. Oh, no. It's a Christian camp, isn't it? Do they even allow Jews at Jesus camp? No, honey, we're sending you to fitness camp. Fat camp? So that was that. My family packed me in the car and drove me all the way into the middle of nowhere, New York. So we finally get to my cabin, and because we were so late, well, it's not my fault that they had 3 Whoppers for $2 at Burger King. Hey, if death row inmates get a last meal, so do fat kids. Anyways, we get to the cabin, and there's only one bed left. The top bed. Have you ever seen a fat kid try to climb a bunk bed? You don't want to. So by the time I got up to this bed, it was time for our first activity. Activity? I just climbed Mount freaking Vesuvio. There is no way I'm going to an activity. And I would have just stayed there all summer, but they threatened my food. So I had to go to basic training with Hans. Welcome to basic training. You call me Hans, yeah? This is Frida and Inga. Okay, we go. Okay. We do 3-mile run, then 100 jack jumpers, then 100 push-ups. And then we go again. I don't run. It's easy, come, you run. Okay, listen, Mr. Beefy Man. I'm sure that English isn't your first language. So let me try to explain this in a way that you might understand. If I run, I could get a black eye. Oh, we go. So after basic training, it was time for our next activity. An activity I'm a professional at. dinner. So we're heading down to the dining hall, and I realize something. Fat camp is conveniently placed on a giant hill. No, the hill was that bunk bed I had to scale. This was a colossal monstrosity that we had to walk down to get to the dining hall. If one of us trips and falls, we're all rolling. So we get down to the dining hall and we get our food. And it kind of tastes like, well, let me just tell you this. My new rule, I don't put anything in me that looks like it could come out of me. At dinner's when I met Jessica.
Oh my God, like, hi.
Hi.
So is this totally like your first year here at Camp Shane?
Yeah, yours?
Oh my God, no, this is totally like my Tubby 10.
Your what?
I've totally been coming here for like 10 years in a row.
I'm so embarrassed for you right now. So after dinner, we're heading back to the bunk, and I completely forgot. What fat kids must walk down, fat kids must walk up. So like 2 hours later, we get back to the bunk. And she's waiting for us. Hi, girls, I'm Leanne, and I'm going to be your friend, counselor, and aerobics instructor for the next 8 weeks. Our counselor is our aerobics instructor. This day just keeps getting better, doesn't it? She's so funny. If you ever give me attitude again, I will cut your rolls off one by one. Good night, girls. So that night I laid in bed with one thing on my mind. Well, 2 things. Pizza and boys. Good morning, girls. Oh, what time is it? It's 5:30 a.m., silly girl. Time for your morning run. What is it with you people? And running. So that was that. We hauled our bodacious booties out of bed and ran. And after our morning torture session, we were heading to our next activity, and we saw them. Boys! They walked past us looking all fine. I can't lie to you guys. I've never seen so many moobs in my life. Now, girls, today we're gonna learn how to belly dance. What? Girl, who you kidding? My belly dances by itself. Go ahead, give it a poke. I'm not even breaking a sweat. So after another full day of activities, I laid in bed with a serious case of chub rub. You know when your thighs rub together? Yeah. When the most amazing aroma permeated the air. Szechuan chicken, fried rice, and a fortune cookie. I got out of bed to try and find who the traitor was. Oh, was I kidding? I wanted fried rice and a fortune cookie. It's coming from 23 degrees north and 46 degrees west. The bathroom.
Oh my God!
Jessica, what are you doing?
I'm totally like eating.
You can't have Chinese food at fat camp. The girls will jump you. Where did you get that?
I totally like bought it.
What?
Okay, work with me here, Liz. So you know how like Chinese people are like really good at gymnastics and stuff? So like all you do is you give him a really big tip and he just climbs up the fence and drops it over.
Okay, I was gonna take that from you if you took it from like the kitchen or something, but you made a Chinese man climb a fence? That's brilliant! So we feasted on Chinese food, and before I knew it, 8 weeks came and went, and I came home 50 pounds lighter. I know that's like a whole Backstreet Boy, right? I'm at home and I'm in the dressing room and I'm trying on new clothes and I look beautiful. And then I realized something. I didn't need Camp Shane to be beautiful. I had it in me all along. I just needed a couple laps to figure it out.
I'd now like to introduce a new coach at TF South, another young, up-and-coming coach, Mr. Mike Rice.
Thank you. Just a note, I also competed in original comedy at the same time as Alana did. She beat me every single week for 4 years, so. At this time, I'd like to ask the finalists in original oratory to please come on the stage. In 6th place, from Peoria High School, Kristen Krofchick. In 5th place, from Harrisburg, Adam West. In 4th place, from Charleston, Corey Schultz. In 3rd place, from Thornton Township High School, Cameron Drake. Your state runner-up in original oratory comes from Glenbrook South, Eddie Itkin. And your state champion in original oratory is from Homewood Flossmoor High School, Mr. Austin Smith.
Imagine you're walking in a dark parking garage at night when you hear someone behind you. Now, in an ideal communication situation, you would stop this person and ask them for a resume. You two would sit down for coffee to discuss their goals, their job, their family, their political philosophy, and most importantly, the reason why they're walking behind you in a dark parking garage, states Charles Whelan in his book, Naked Economics. But you all know that at first glance, we would focus our attention on sex, age, and all too often, color. Here in America, we like to think of ourselves as progressive when it comes to civil rights. However, we fail to realize we have a long way to go when it comes to race relations. Now, I know you're all asking yourselves, do we really have to listen to another black guy complain about race? And the answer is yes. However, not just people of color experience racism in this country. At this point in our history, each of us is a victim of racism, whether directly or indirectly. Stephen Small, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, states, racism may be less visible, but it is no less virulent. There is a new, more subtle form of racism that has surfaced today, and he is right, which is why we as Americans need to re-examine this topic. First, we'll delve into the problems surrounding racism today, then examine the causes, and lastly, uncover some solutions. So, how has this problem changed? There is a belief among many that racism is no longer an issue. states Professor Small in a February 2005 Daily Californian article. Conversely, there are those who feel race remains a huge issue and that race relations are actually worsening, thus giving rise to our problem, a general disparity among people's current views on racism. Many Americans are too idealistic when it comes to our progress since the Civil Rights Movement. And this idealism causes blindness to racism subtleties. And if people can't see racism, it's not there. Another problem is that we avoid so many conversations about race. Now, I've even had friends who sidestep these conversations for fear of a disagreement, without realizing that a disagreement can result in a better understanding. Laura Washington, in a September 2005 Chicago Sun-Times article, cites the racial tension caused by Hurricane Katrina as an opportunity for Americans to openly discuss race. She states, Katrina is the latest in an inexorable line of watershed moments that have passed in a long night of denial, along with the lynchings of thousands of black men and boys in the late 19th and for much of the 20th century. Emmett Till, Rodney King. If we don't talk about it now, then when? In a country that prides itself on its freedoms, are we not free enough to discuss issues that are racially motivated? Now, let's consider what causes our divergence of opinion and lack of discussion. When we closely examine race in America, we are a country burdened by its past. We allowed the Civil Rights Movement to define our ideas about race for the 20th century. But it's currently the 21st century. Far too many of us view the Civil Rights Movement as the end of our struggle with racism as a country, hence the belief it's no longer an issue. The Commission on Religion in Appalachia, a branch of the NAACP, states on its organizational website, American society is not and never has been blind or neutral when it comes to racial identity. And as we built our very institutions, many of those forms of bias and discrimination get built right in. Because racism is at times institutional, the Civil Rights Movement cannot possibly eradicate it despite what some think. Additionally, our lack of comfort when dealing with race is also problematic. As a result, we rarely discuss race in a comfortable environment. A 2001 article released by the National Staff Development Council, an organization aimed at helping teachers achieve high-quality performance, addresses the difficulties they face when trying to discuss race in the classroom. The article states often our inexperience or fear of discussing race prompts us to talk about economic class, language, or immigration instead. Unfortunately, we use these categories and labels to avoid discussing race and miss opportunities to confront our racial anxiety. So, it is our misconstrued ideas about race and discomfort that cause our prejudiced behavior. Now, we must consider ways to correct this behavior. Let's be honest. Racism is an extensive problem that cannot be solved instantly, but there is so much we can do on a personal level to begin to confront this issue. First, we must redefine racism. Paul Haggis provides us with an excellent definition in the film Crash, in which racial issues bring a group of strangers together through a series of physical and emotional collisions. Whether through a Caucasian police officer sexually harassing a biracial woman, or a Persian immigrant holding a Hispanic man at gunpoint, the film shows us that in this day and age, racism isn't Jim Crow laws, internment camps, and separate water fountains. But racism is the subtle behaviors, guided by our discriminatory views, and more importantly, guided by our fear. Finally, we must increase awareness of culture and diversity. Of course, you can always join a diversity club, but in order to solve the problem, we need to monitor our day-to-day interpersonal communication. When we fail to address racist comments and behavior, we give people permission to repeat it over and over. In turn, we become part of the problem. Yes, I know these conversations are emotionally charged. But we will never move forward if we allow our complacency to outweigh our personal conviction. It is time that we acknowledge the fact that diversity is not a burden, but an opportunity to strengthen our tolerance. Even today, people allow their idealistic views on race to suppress the fact that racism still plagues our society. However, now that we've analyzed the problem and developed some solutions, we are empowered to live up to this country's progressive reputation. Now, as for the mysterious person in the parking garage, I'm almost positive this situation doesn't lend itself to you two getting to know each other. And besides, does the race of a potential mugger in a dark parking garage at night really matter? The answer to that question depends on whether or not we are willing to progress beyond our country's past and allow our common belief in equality and opportunity to outweigh our obsession with differences.
I would now like to introduce, to present the award for oratorical declamation, the Thornton coach, a good friend of mine and a great coach, Kevin Martin.
Good evening. May I have the finalists for oratorical declamation, please? In sixth place, from Freeport, Kayla Cluck. In fifth place, from DeKalb, Katie Thriloff. In fourth place, from Naperville Central, Katie Dawes. In third place, from Warren, Ria Rajou. Your tournament runner-up is from Glenbrook South, Robert Whitley. And your 2006 state champion in oratorical declamation is from Proviso East, Justin Williams.
The CEO of Apple Computers and Pixar Animation Studios, Steve Jobs, shared 3 life stories that were personal and compelling to the graduating class of 2005 at Stanford University. Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish by Steve Jobs. I am honored to be with you today at your commencement from one of the finest universities in the world. I never graduated from college. Truth be told, this is the closest I have ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it, no big deal, just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So, why did I drop out? I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford, and all my working-class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After the first 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. So, I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I had ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and began dropping in on the ones that looked interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with, and I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night just to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at the time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instructions in the country. Because I didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amounts of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture. And I found it fascinating. None of this had a hope of any practical application in my life, but 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, it's likely that the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. Of course, it was impossible trying to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. But it's very, very clear looking backward 10 years later. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something. Your gut, life, destiny, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. My second story is about love and loss. My partner, Waz, and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We had just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I had just turned 30. And then I got fired. I know. How do you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually, we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. So at 30, I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the main focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple hadn't changed that one bit. I had been rejected, but I was still in love. So I decided to start over. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next and another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first animated feature film, Toy Story. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, I returned to Apple, and Lauren and I have a wonderful family together. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. If you haven't found what you loved yet, don't settle. Keep looking. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know what it is when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas. I didn't even know what a pancreas was. The doctor said that this was most certainly a type of cancer that is incurable, and that I should expect to live no longer than 3 to 6 months. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy in which they stuck an endoscope down my throat, through my stomach and into my intestine, and got a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my wife, who was there, said that when the doctors viewed the cells under the microscope, they started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery and I'm fine now. That was the closest I had ever been to facing death. And I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. No one wants to die. Not even people who want to go to heaven want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your own heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not too far from here in Menlo Park. Stuart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog, and then when it had run its course, they put out a final. On the back cover of the final were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish.
I would now like to introduce HF coach, former Thornton coach, Tracy Badger.
It is a pleasure for me to announce the awards tonight in prose reading. Would the finalists in prose please join me on the stage? In sixth place, from Homewood Flossmoor, Caitlin Ho. In fifth place, from Oaklawn High School, Juliana Hinks. In fourth place, from Sandburg, Elizabeth Sadler. In third place, from Downers Grove South, Kyle Ackerman. Your tournament runner-up in prose reading from DuQuoin, Dylan Heap. Ladies and gentlemen, your tournament champion in prose reading from Charleston, Ben Letty.
So, this fellow Zach at the Ironworks in Sunnyvale, where I'm an accountant and he's a furnace man, he comes over to me at the Iron Man Saloon. "Milton, old man," he says. And then he proceeds, for the fourth time, to urge me to take his sister on the Ironworkers hayride. Even though he's told me she has a cork leg. You know, Zach, I'm really tired at night. Oh, come on. I mean, it's dark, and you've got nothing much to look at except Minnie, and hey, she's easy on the eyes. I mean, come on, Milton, she's my sister, please. How about it? Psychologist Herbert A. Otto says that change and growth take place when an individual risks himself and dares to experiment with his own life. Indeed, in experimenting with our lives, we can unlock the often unexpected courage that resides within. The Ironworkers Hayride by Robert Olin Butler. Okay, so this is how I come to be standing at the front gate of the ironworks holding a bunch of orange poppies and a blanket. Okay, here's what I know. Minnie lost her leg, I think it's the left one, in a childhood carriage accident. She's 22 and she likes poppies. Oh, and the leg is actually made of willow wood, not cork. She just bought it in Cork County. So these two yellow eyes appear down the road, and up roars Zach in his Model T. But then stepping into the blazing beams of the headlamps comes Minnie of the cork leg. She looks swell. Picture this, she's wearing this blue sailor dress. And her hair is all tied up there with this dark, wide ribbon, and there's this radiance all around her. I mean, from the car, but nonetheless. and my eyes are just dancing around her. Hi, Milton. I'm Minnie. And I awkwardly put out my bouquet of orange poppies. Oh, poppies, they're my favorite. How did you know? I asked Zach. Well, you were really swell to do this, Milton. So we arrive at the last wagon, and she heads for the far end, and I sit down to the left of her. Okay, my mouth opens to say something. But the words can't come to mind. I mean, I'm definitely thinking about Minnie and her leg. I mean, though I'm not looking at her, and I'm not touching her, and, you know, she might as well be a distant memory for all that. And so she soon will be. I mean, this is my only chance with her, and we're sliding along in the night, and the time is ticking by, and I'm acting like she's not even there. Are you feeling a little bit chilled? Oh yeah, a little. So she pulls the blanket up over us, and we lie back to look at the night sky. Yeah, we do that for a while. Not looking, not touching. But then she looks up at me and says, hey, do you remember last year when the Earth was going to pass through the tail of Halley's Comet? Did you think life on Earth would come to an end? This happens to be a topic that I actually know something about. Minnie, not for a moment. You see, the tail looked pretty substantial across the sky, but you have to understand that there's only about 1 molecule of poison per cubic yard, and since it takes 10,000 sextillion antigen molecules to weigh 1 pound, the amount of poison that the Earth was about to pass through weighed about ½ an ounce. I was really proud of that. So, you know, she thinks it over, and then she looks up at me and says, well, I was sort of scared. And then, all of a sudden, there's this comet of desire streaking through me, and I've got to touch this girl. You know, a stroke at her hair, or a brush on her arm, or something. I think of her artificial leg. I mean, it's a leg, which is a really powerful part of a girl, but I mean, it's an artificial leg. I mean, it's made of wood, but I mean, it is attached to her body, and it's very leg-like in structure, but I mean, it's made of wood. She wouldn't even feel it. I look at my right hand. And it slowly slithers down the length of the blanket. And then I touch her. Or it. I'm really happy. You know, Milton, some people took one look at the comet and died. Yeah, heart attacks mostly. I surround Minnie's leg. I even squeeze it ever so faintly. You know, some people just went insane. Squeeze. Squeeze. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. I love her willow leg. Oh, here, sweet knee. Take this caress. Oh, man. You sure you weren't a little afraid of the comet? Oh, yeah, a little. And I gently take my hand and I put it back at my side. Well, you want to look at the constellations or something? Sure. I know something about those. And so we trace them out together. And we go on and we talk about this and that, and we sing some songs, and I wish that the night never ends. But once the hayride is over, I grab Minnie by her waist, just wanting to spin her around and around with her feet never touching the ground. So we stand before each other. And she looks at me and says, Milton, thank you so much. I had a really good time. Call on me sometime. Okay, Milton? And once again, I am just without words. But I managed to nod my head to say, yes, yes, I will. And then Minnie smiles, this slow, sweet smile, and looks at me and says, hey, Milton, just for future reference, it's the other leg.
I would now like to introduce a great coach, a wonderful person, Miss Yvonne Nesbitt.
I see better without my glasses. Good evening, everyone. So far, so good. Wonderful tournament, a lot of wonderful talent. Congratulations to all the winners. Will the finalists for verse reading please step onto the stage? In sixth place, from Carbondale, Ben Ponce. In fifth place, from Belleville West, Kara Weinstein. In fourth place, from Thornton High School, Jaleesa McCautry. Third place, from Glenbrook South, Colleen Skemp. Okay. Runner-up in verse reading is from Downers Grove South, Geisha Gonzalez. And your tournament champion, now we have to hear the name, is from Charleston, Corey Schultz.
Lying together in a park on 7th, our backs smush grass, and I say, I will love you till I become child again. When feeding me and bathing me is no longer romantic, but rather necessary. I will love you until there is no till. Till I die, and when that electroencephalogram shuts down, baby, ooh, that's when the real loving kicks in. Forgive me for sounding selfish, but I will not be able to wait under the earth for you. Albeit a romantic gesture for the groundhogs and the gophers and those gooey little worms. But I will not be able to wait for you. Philosopher Pierre Abelard once noted that the beginning of wisdom is found in doubting. By doubting we come to the question, and by seeking we may come upon the truth. Thus, uncertainty is an understood faction of our daily lives. Through the poetry A Finger Two Dots Than Me by Derek Brown, One More Thing by Jill Ausier, and Strawberries by Bruce Snyder, we find that recognizing, not controlling the unknown, is necessary to move us through our blind future. Ready or Not, a poetry program exploring the intricacies of uncertainty. Sometimes I think we already have it. You know, I think that the world's that big, and then your dog dies, or the planet's more imperfectly shaped. I'm not afraid. How else can I explain invention? You know, in that story where the man wakes up and he can't find his wife, now suddenly their bed's a moon, too big, too bright. I will not be able to wait for you, but I will meet up with you. Here's how you'll find me. Get a pen. Hold your finger up, or two fingers if your hands are frail by now, and count 2 stars directly to the left of the North American moon. You'll find me there. You will find me darting behind amazing quasars, behind flirtatious winks of bright and blasting boom stars, sometimes charging so far into space the darkness goes blue. You will recognize my voice. You will see the flash of a fire trail burning out the back of me, burning like a gasoline comet, kerosene sapphire. This is my voice. Don't look at my body or look for a ghost. I'll resemble more of a pilot light than a man now. Strawberries still make me think of David Freeman, whom I was not supposed to love, though I did. One summer, fearlessly, my tongue struggling not to name what would be hated. David, whose mother studied to be a nun, but who lived down the road from us, smoking Camel cigarettes and drinking rye whiskey from Dixie cups. David, who cried in front of me when his stepfather called him a little prick. I'm sure some will see this cobalt star, white light from Earth, and cast me a wish like a wonder bomb. And I'll think, people still do that? And I'm sure I'll take those light wonder bombs to the point in the universe where sound does not end, to the back porch of God's summer home. And I'll ask him, why do I call you God? And he says, because Grand Poobah sounds ridiculous. Who knew he was so witty? And then I ask him, Lord, so many poets have tried to nail it and missed. What is holy? And at that moment, the planets begin to spin and awaken, and large movie screens appear on Mars, Saturn, and Venus, each bearing images I have witnessed, and over each and every image flashes the word holy. Magic tricks. Holy. Armadillos. Holy. Clumsy first kisses. Holy. Sneaking into the movies. The $5 you made in Vegas and the $450 that you lost. The last time you were nervous holding hands. Feeling God at a pool hall, but not at church. Falling asleep during your uncle's memorized dinner prayer. The day you really got to speak to your father because the television broke. The day your grandmother told you something meaningful. She was dying. Holy. I loved him as I was not supposed to love him. The two of us sleeping over at my house every night, side by side, until once, in the middle of August, I kissed him, and he awoke looking at my mouth as if it were a cut opening in my face. David saying I disgusted him, saying he hated me, and even though I asked him to stay, he walked home anyways, the night pressing against me like the burn of an exhaust pipe, small and blossoming on my wrist. The work, the loss, the end, the finale, the design in the stars is the same in our hearts. The design in the stars is the same in our hearts, in the rebuilt machinery of our hearts. So love, you'll know where to find me and exactly where to go. Take your time. Take your time. And don't worry about getting lost. You'll find me. Up there, a finger and 2 dots away. If you're wondering if I'll still be able to hold you, I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that I could still fall for a swish of light that comes barreling and cascading towards me. It will resemble your sweet, definite hands. The universe will bend, the planets will bow, and I will say, oh, there you are. I've been waiting for you. Now we can go. As the 2 pilot lights go zoom back into the black construction paper night, as somewhere else 2 other lovers lie down and say, what the hell was that? When I finally slept that night, I dreamed of my brothers and the wild strawberries we sometimes picked in the fields around our house. You know, which you could take as a sign of hope. Had the story turn out in any way differently.
I'd now like to introduce a Glenbrook South teacher, former Sandburg coach, Mr. Mark Moranto.
Good evening. Since it was about 12 scant hours ago that the first round of the day began, we'll get right to this. Can I have the finalists in special occasion speaking take to the stage? In 7th place in special occasion speaking from Sandburg High School, Nora Nereus. In 6th place from Marist High School, Rachel Bykowski. In 5th place from Wheaton Warrenville South High School, Jillian Losh. In 4th place, from Downers Grove South High School, Jacqueline Bernard. In 3rd place, from Naperville Central High School, Adrian Peterson. And your 2006 state runner-up in 2nd place from Carbondale High School, Nathan Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your 2006 Special Occasion Speaking Champion, David Noss from Glenbard West High School.
Oh my gosh. My next door neighbor's best friend's cat's caretaker's daughter, who sits next to you in bio, was totally talking trash about you today. She just ran at the mouth like it was a vocal marathon or something and kept talking and talking. But I was like, whatever, I'll start a rumor that she has a hygiene problem. And then we can talk about how much fun it was to talk about everything. And we can just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and shut up. As you can see, people are abusing talking on a regular basis in this country. Individuals actually find themselves addicted to their own voices. Seeing how everyone's voice isn't as pleasing as my own, call me. The outlook is dire. Hi, I'm David Knaus, a recovering talkaholic, and I'm here today to speak to you, the future politicians of America, on the dangers of talkaholism and the importance of silence. We as a society talk too much. People talking simply for the sake of talking eliminates the crucial part of conversation, silent consideration. So I'll brave the risk of again falling into a pattern of talking abuse to open your eyes to the situation. The first step is admitting our addiction to talking and identifying the problem. Next, we must establish the causes of the problem to help lead to our recovery. To solve the problem and step away from our addiction, there are a few things we can do to talk just enough so that our potential vocal addiction isn't a political liability in the future. So as much as this pains you, shut up and listen. For now, let me be your dare bear. Except instead of drugs and alcohol, I'm talking about talking. And I'm not wearing a giant bear suit. Or am I? Look, over there, it's a giant problem. The problem is, people constantly talk and say ridiculous things. Sometimes what we say is painful. United States Senator Bob Dole, a political idol to some of you, I'm sure, once said, "The internet is a great way to get on the net." Ouch. My brain hurts just from thinking about that one. Please, stick to Viagra, Bob. But Dole continued to neglect the use of his mind when he went on and on and on, and finally said, "Life is very important to Americans." Bravo, Bob, bravo. Maybe not only life, but thoughtful vocalization should carry importance. Now, other than forgetting about the existence of our minds, we also compete to talk the most. Dr. Redford B. Williams, co-author of the book Life Skills, warns that another trait that marks you as a motor mouth is treating every conversation as a contest of one-upmanship. Oh yeah, Dr. Williams? Well, I see your point. Specifically, the workplace suffers from a byproduct of overtalking, conversational noise. Psychologist and author Susan A. Pinker asks in an article entitled "When the Next Cubicle is a Broadcasting Booth" what the top beef among office workers is. Survey says, bing, conversational noise. Pinker goes on to say that many workers complain that they could get more done if there were less talking in the office. I don't think that that's an issue in your prospective field of work. A prerequisite of a career in politics is saying what needs to be done, and then never doing it. Finally, talking too much implies that other people have nothing new or worthwhile to share. And according to communication specialist Lauren Eckroth, this can create distance and negative feelings between people. Not what you want if you're running for political office. Unless you're running for president of the Hermit's Club. So, our addiction to talking hurts our brains, is terribly competitive, can prevent work from being done, and even creates distance between people. Where does all this madness come from? Probably from over there. Seeing how there are no addictive additives in talking, there must be some underlying causes to the problem. Now, the cleverest people might attribute this problem to education. People simply know too many words, right? Wrong. Education is a political asset. Besides, the source of the problem isn't that elementary. A large cause is stress. Many people feel the need to be in control even when engaged in casual conversation. I like to call these people psychos. A study at the Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina, showed how these people always, you think at Duke they teach you not to repeat the same word over and over again. Anyway, these people always need to be in control and need to have it their way. That can be a difficult thing to achieve, and it requires a constant flow of stress hormones to continue. We as talkers also forget to listen sometimes. Dr. John A. Klein of Air University says that too many people simply do not challenge their listening abilities. Since many of today's radio and television programs do not require attentive listening, prolonged exposure to these things does not improve your status as a listener. So basically, the media is to blame. Who could have guessed? As future politicians, you should all grow accustomed to blaming the media. It'll never be your fault. According to Dr. David Knaus, hey, that's me. People say the dumbest things. I recently went to Taco Bell to order a shocker. Taco. I asked the person behind the counter for minimal lettuce. He said he was sorry, but they only had iceberg. You know, green and crunchy, the shredded kind. What is that? If he had just listened, he would have been better off. But no, he decided to succumb to his talking addiction. That's it, I'm done. We need the solutions. The solution is fairly simple. Shut up. Oh, did you want me to elaborate? Now, none of us wants to be addicted to talking. So let's learn how to get off the chatterbox bandwagon. As fast as, say, White Sox fans got on it. In a modern healthcare issue written in July of last year, Charles S. Lauer suggests that oftentimes, all you need to do is keep your mouth shut and people will give you credit. Gee, thanks. Another great solution is self-monitoring your addiction and getting help if you can't ward off the urges to speak. In his article entitled, "Do You Talk Too Much?" psychologist Rick Shalat says, "Hell yeah, you do." He goes on to say that if you think your life would be significantly improved by shedding your rep as an overtalker, you should consider seeing a psychologist who specializes in interpersonal skills. Yet another outstanding solution is silence. Now, I'm not saying that we stop talking entirely. What kind of politicians would we be? It's just that silence can provide the greatest moments of understanding. In the same article, Shalat proposes that people should become more comfortable with the silences during a conversation. But words are only necessary when there's purpose behind them. Roger Rosenblatt, a prominent editorialist for Time magazine, delivers a similar sentiment in a 1998 piece. He states that people should find situations in which talk is unnecessary, and they can tacitly acknowledge the mystery of their connection and be grateful for it. This connection can only be fully realized through an earnest effort to listen to our peers, to our constituents, and even to our political enemies. Of course, if your voice is as pleasing as mine, silence might not be the best option. We all talk too much. As a recovering talkaholic, I can tell you that it can sometimes be dangerous. As future politicians, it's vital that you utilize your words. But if you talk too much, you risk looking like an idiot or becoming a competitive junkie for conversational supremacy. Talking too much even hurts productivity in the workplace and can distance people from one another. The causes of these problems vary from a lack of thought to an inability to listen. To overcome our talking habit, it's as easy as monitoring ourselves or embracing silence as a positive thing. I think we've all learned our lesson here and fear talkaholism just a little bit. So it's time I shed this giant bear suit. So, as much fun as it's been talking to you guys this whole time, I think I better stop talking now. Because if I just keep talking and talking and talking, someone's gonna yell, "Shut up!" And please, let's start enjoying the silence.
And now to present radio speaking, former Andrew coach, current Lyons Township teacher, former Oaklawn competitor, Tammy Fear.
Hi. First of all, it's been amazing having State here, and I just have to concur with Mr. Sackett. My speech family came back, and they're sitting here, and they're out there, and it's been amazing seeing all of you. So thanks for amazing all of us. It's been great seeing this with all of you today. Come on up, guys and gals. In 7th place, from Pearl City, Katie Quitschreiber. In 6th place, from Normal Community, Priya Gopinath. And in 5th place, from Wheaton North, Carly Vendegna. And in 4th place, from Downers Grove South, Jacqueline Bernard. In 3rd place, from Glenbard West, Kyle Frischkarn. This is the best part. Okay, in 2nd place, from Geneseo, Mark Stevens. You can't hear his name when you're talking. Well, it's obviously an honor for me to introduce your champion from Oaklawn, David Ford.
Details unfold on alleged terror plot. Louisiana assesses its future, and Illinois considers smoking ban. Good evening. This broadcast of WEXT Radio News is brought to you by Dream Makers, your one-stop prom shop. It's 9:05, and I'm Dave Ford. Over in Malaysia, officials in Southeast Asia are adding details to President Bush's outline of the alleged 2002 terror plot aimed at Los Angeles. They say a Malaysian engineer recruited by the Al-Qaeda to become a pilot for a second wave of attacks on the U.S. pulled out of the plan after he witnessed the carnage of 9/11. They say Zaini Zakaria was among 3 men Al-Qaeda was preparing to take part in an attack on the West Coast. A man has been detained without trial in Malaysia since 2002. President Bush said in a speech yesterday there was a plot to hijack an airliner and fly it into a skyscraper in Los Angeles. In the Middle East, the U.S. and Israel are said to be considering a plan to starve the Palestinian Authority of cash to taint the election success of Hamas. The hope is that Palestinians will grow so disillusioned with Hamas that they return ousted Fatah moderates to power. The ultimatum to Hamas will be either to recognize Israel's right to exist, abandon violence and accept previous Palestinian-Israeli agreements, or risk isolation and eventual collapse. Already, the West and Israel have threatened to withhold billions in aid to the Palestinians. In the U.S., Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco opened a special legislative session today to address the future of the state slammed by last year's hurricanes. She'll begin with a bus trip to New Orleans so lawmakers can see the damage, but some say they've already seen the destruction and won't go. Others say the emphasis now should be on lawmaking, not sightseeing. Some lawmakers are likely to oppose Blanco's plans to streamline the New Orleans area's system of separate, locally operated levies, and her push to consolidate the city's government. Down south, authorities in Alabama say a man suspected of setting fire to an abandoned church is a copycat and absolutely not linked to fires at 10 other rural churches. Authorities in Calhoun County describe the man jailed on suspicion of arson as mentally disturbed. They say 21-year-old Jason Phillips lived beside the old church and has a brother who is a volunteer firefighter. 10 other Alabama church fires have been ruled arson, but no arrests have been made in those cases. Today in Illinois, smokers beware. Illinois lawmakers are considering a statewide ban on smoking in public places, like restaurants, bars, and bowling alleys. Health advocates say smokers shouldn't inflict their smoke on employees and other customers. One expert says that a waitress who breathes secondhand smoke for 8 hours has essentially smoked a pack of cigarettes. But business groups oppose a ban. They say that customers can vote with their feet and choose whether to go to places that allow smoking. In Chicago news, the city of Chicago plans to open a new lakefront helicopter pad to offer swift response to a terrorist attack or other emergencies. It's important to have a helicopter pad close to the city center for emergency agencies to use. IDOT and federal regulators recently okayed the heliport. The city plans to open the facility as early as April on a concrete platform just south of Navy Pier. Private helicopters also could use the facility. Up next, sports and weather after a brief word from Dream Makers. Prom is one of those special occasions that you'll look back on the rest of your life. That means you don't want just any dress or any old tux. You need help. Where do you go? Dream Makers is the answer. Dream Makers can make your prom extra special with the perfect dress and the right tux. They'll even take care of the flowers and the garter too. No matter what size, you'll find everything you need to make your prom perfect at Dream Makers, your one-stop shop for prom. In the world of sports, a doctor accused of writing illegal steroid prescriptions to some football players has agreed to a plea deal. Dr. James Short will plead guilty to a federal conspiracy count in exchange for 42 similar counts being dropped. He'll face up to 5 years in prison. Short prescribed drugs to current and former Carolina Panthers, bodybuilders, and at least one police officer. In the NBA, Chicago beat Cleveland 103-80, Seattle took out Toronto 101-75, and Boston topped the Clippers 105-103. Your local forecast for today calls for a high of 30 degrees with cloudy skies. Tonight, there will be a low of 10. Tomorrow, skies will be snowing with a high of 20. This has been WEXT's Hourly News, Sports, and Weather Report, brought to you by Dreammakers, your one-stop prom shop. I'm Dave Ford. Have a nice day.
Now to present our final award, an Oaklawn coach, a new coach, Mr. TJ Karaman.
It's with great pleasure that I welcome the 18 very patient finalists in HDA up on stage. In ninth place, a finalist from Lincoln, Shelley and Kirkuru. A finalist from Homewood Flossmoor, Mosbury and Schilling. A finalist from York, Moore and Scott. In sixth place, from Downers Grove South, Courtney and Dee Dee. In fifth place, from Wheaton North, McSweeney and Movito. In fourth place, from Hinsdale Central, Jadick and Parsons. Thank you. In third place, from Warren, Johnson and Griffiths. Your tournament runner-up is from Marion, Brignall and Brignall. And it's my honor to introduce you to our state champion in HGA from Thornton, Hawkins, and Wilder.
Thank you.
She's impossible. Totally impossible. I cannot stand living with her for another hour. Another minute. I'm losing my hair. I'm so upset. Look, it's coming out in big hunks. Do you know how much a good bottle of Rogaine costs nowadays? And it's all her fault. See what I mean? She shaves her nasty legs with my razor. My razor, the one that I use on my face.
He shakes his bumpy face with my razor. My razor, the one I use on my legs.
It's unsanitary. She leaves her dirty underwear all over the house.
He clips his toenails in the living room.
She eats cookies in the bed. And she won't even share. Do you see? Do you see? Susan always wants her way.
Tiger makes my hair turn gray.
That's not your real hair anyway. What happened to the days?
I wish that we could go back when
We thought our love would never end.
we could really use a man like Dr. Phil again.
Our marriage has gone up in flames.
I think you're the one to blame.
The marriage counselor is on the way.
Bye,
Joey Olay. Look, I know why you brought me here in the first place. You know, I got a hockey game on at home. And you, what are you talking about? You're not going to do anything but just twist everything around anyway.
What?
Yeah.
I don't twist anything. It's not my fault you're not as smart as I am.
Oh, but I'm smart. It's just a simple fact that you're cold. And I'm sensitive.
You mean stupid.
No, I mean sensitive.
You mean sensitive.
No, I mean stupid. You're the sensitive one. I'm the stupid one that's built like that from the first day that I...
Yeah. All right. Okay. How about we start from the beginning? I'll go first.
Oh, no, I'll go first.
Okay.
Wait. You manipulated this whole thing so that I'll go first, didn't you? I'm not going first.
Okay, then I'll win.
You see that? Now, she wanted to go first the whole entire time, right? She just wanted me to suffer first.
You go first.
Oh, no, because now you're just trying to make me look bad.
Trust me, you don't need any help with that.
You can go first.
Okay.
Look at that. She gets everything she wants all the time, no matter what.
We've never been to a marriage counselor before. We thought we should try it.
You've tried everything else. Role playing?
Self-help books?
Self-help videos.
Talking to friends.
Hypnosis.
Talking to psychics.
Prostitutes. Did I say prostitutes? What I meant to say was Protestants. We've been talking to loads of Protestants.
Lawyers. Did I say lawyers?
I think you did say lawyers. Have you been to a lawyer?
Have you been to a prostitute?
Don't be silly now. What would I go to a prostitute for, Susan? Okay, I know what I would go to a prostitute for. But I haven't been to one. I watch a lot of HBO.
Look,
okay?
we just get on with this. You can go first and start from the beginning.
The beginning?
Yes, the beginning.
You sure?
Yes.
Well, one night, all right, a long, long time ago, when my mother was, she was really drunk, and my father lured her behind a two-shed, and they just began to contemplate. Then what do you want me to start?
I'll go first. Look, it started when we were at a barbecue, and he came up to me and
She's
approached
having
me.
an affair.
What?
Yep. Did you want me to lie to the man? I mean, what's the point of us coming down there and paying $200?
Tiger,
If you
be quiet.
quiet, now quiet, woman! Take your seat. All right, now it is my turn to talk, okay? And for once in my life, when it's my turn to talk, I'm gonna take my turn to talk, and you best believe that I'm gonna talk. That's what I was gonna say.
Look, I'll talk to him like I was saying.
Now I remember. Now let me ask you a question. All right, now how many times a week does UPS come to your house? All right, once maybe.
Here we go again.
Twice even sometimes. All right, they come to my house every single day and she is at home alone in her bathroom 5 days a week.
I order a lot of books.
I order a lot. She is sleeping with every UPS man in the country. You know, they're probably fighting and taking turns to see who comes to my house first. The old lady next door to us died yesterday because the medicine she needed was in my driveway getting cold. All because she likes men in ugly uniforms.
No, wait 1 minute. May I speak?
Oh, no, nobody wants to listen to your lies now.
Look, it is true. I do think about other men, but I think that is perfectly normal.
I don't think about other men.
I do find a man in a uniform irresistible, but I wouldn't be thinking about other men if you loved me.
I do love you,
No,
woman.
no. You never wanted me. You wanted my sister Janine.
Janine, that's
She
crazy
never
talk.
comes to visit because she knows that he wants her and she doesn't want to ruin our marriage.
No, she never comes to visit because our entire driveway is packed with UPS trucks, remember?
Molly married me out of guilt.
Is that what you think? Susan? That is not true. All right? The truth of the matter is I married you because I'm stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid.
You only want Janine.
You only want UPS drivers. Did you see?
Oh my God.
Did you see it? You know what? I'm fine. Okay, because I saw that violent stuff coming because you crazy just like your mama. I can't believe she hit me, man.
How dare you say that about my mother?
What? Crazy? Crazy? Crazy, crazy? No, you're not gonna hit me no more. Oh, no! Oh, no! She was just playing, man. I mean,
I feel better now.
me too.
I get in contact with a lot of inner hostility.
I don't know what came over me. Hey, I didn't hurt you, did I?
No. We were like wild animals.
Like a tiger. Rah.
I feel like a new person.
Me too. With a sore neck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Wait a minute. About those UPS drivers.
Oh, no, I mean, if that's what you
No,
like.
no, listen. I don't know where you get this whole thing about me wanting UPS drivers, but it's not true.
Really?
No. You're not having an affair, are you?
I don't think anybody would want me.
I would.
Stop it. So crazy. Hey, I got an idea. Let's go on a second honeymoon.
That is a great idea.
I know it is. 'Cause I'm making it.
We could go to Venice.
Or Disneyland.
Or Belgium and Holland.
Or Disney and land.
Or the south of France.
Or the south of Disneyland. I can't wait.
I want to go overseas.
I want to ride the teacups. We're doing it again, aren't we? I'll tell you what. We can go to the south or wherever you want to, okay? All right. As long as it don't cost too much.
You're a really great counselor. What can we do to repay him?
Well, let's bring him along. Nah.
For the team awards, I'd like to announce the top 5 teams, and will the 5th and 4th please stand. There is a 2-way tie for 5th place with 14 points. Could Warren Township please stand? And tied for 5th, Wheaton North. In 4th place, please stand with 15 points, Charleston High School. Please come to the stage, the team and the coaches. In third place with 16 points, Thornton High School. Coach Kevin Martin. I'm not sure if this has ever happened before, but we have a two-way tie for first place. With 26 points each. We'll first announce the first tie, well, the tie, second for first place, Downers Grove South. Coach Jan Heiteen, Mark McDonald, principal, and Jenny Davis, activities director. Also in first place with 26 points, Glenbrook South, Coach Scott McDermott. It was an exhausting honor to host this tournament. We have the packets in the hall, down the main hallway, down along the gym, where you get your packet and your recipe book. So we have one more thing for you, your recipe book. Thank you very much, and see you next year at State and Rock Island High School.